Welcome back to episode 31,002 of the RECRAP. This is the Bears post game after a kind of ridiculous win in Minnesota against the Vikings, a game that the Bears basically had won for 59 minutes of the game and then gave it away, but then took it back. I think Ben Johnson got asked in the post game by Jason Leisure, I think, about winning these ugly games. And, I know Ben has said before he's not going to apologize for any wins. If you win one or two ugly games in a year, you're probably a bad team that hung on. If you win several of them, it just means you're good. You find a way to win. They also find a way to try to give it away, but we'll get into that in this sighting edition. We are going to spend a little extra time with the sponsors today. One of them is incredible, and a few weeks ago we had the Scottie Pippen, Mr. Submarine ad back from, I don't know what year that was, 89, 90, 91, somewhere in there. For their 50th anniversary, Mr. Submarine has done a whole series of ads. Several of them are very good. There's one with the Pope that is especially funny, but this might be the best one, and it's Bears related. So, again, thank you to our sponsor, Mr. Submarine.
Chicago's original submarine, Mr. Submarine.
Chicken sub for Tom Waddle?
Yo, toss it here.
Really?
Yeah, I used to be a professional football receiver.
Okay.
Fuck.
Tom Waddle used to catch lots of footballs, but he couldn't catch that chicken sub.
Incredible. The acting it's not quite up to Scotty, but it is. And there's another one I have a feeling will sponsor the RECRAP eventually that harkens directly back to the Scottie Pippen one. Our other sponsor, of course, the Pat Benkowski Sports Spectacular. Pat is on assignment. He's been unavailable to join us on these, but one of these days, Pat's going to do it. I can't wait. The other one, of course, would be, I don't know if you've heard, but my book is actually, it's not coming anymore. It's here. Some of you ordered it over the weekend too, so you'll be getting that either on Monday or Tuesday, I think. Doesn't take very long to get them. I mean, they have a warehouse full of them because they're expecting to sell millions of them. It's called the Immortals. It's about the 2016 Cubs. It's about a little bit of 2014, a lot of 2015, and then all of 2016. It's receiving critical acclaim. I keep waiting for the New York Times to certify that it's going to be on the bestseller list. Nonfiction, for those of you who lived through it. The Cubs actually, I know it seems ridiculous now to look at the team, but they did. They won a World Series once, and not that long ago. We were actually all alive to see it. So I want to thank everybody for putting up with the constant flood of excerpts in the newsletter this last week. Here's a good thing: you don't have to have any excerpts anymore of this book. You just go buy it. You can have the whole thing, and it won't be. But you might not be completely excerpt free yet, because as I didn't have it on the desk. On Friday, you can buy my other book, which is called Great Until It Wasn't, which is about the 2003-2004 Chicago Cubs. It's even bigger. It's 416 pages, I think. And that's without, I didn't pad these like Al Yellen did, where he had like 20 blank pages at the end of the book. I'd still like to know how that happened. I can tell you that it almost happened in the first printing of the 2016 book, because when I was messing around with it, I changed the margins. And so it kind of shrunk the total page count. But when I made the PDF, it left all the blank pages. And I was like, oh, I almost did an Al, but I didn't. But it could come in handy, like if you want to do some coloring at the back of a book, or if you want to make notes. I'm sure that's what they're there for, is notes. Actually, this is the one. This is the one that I got printed that had all the extra pages. There it is. How pissed would everybody have been if they got this? It's like, the last last 16 pages are blank. So it didn't happen in the real book, the one you buy. And then Graded Till It Wasn't, I just turned in the final on Saturday night. And it's because of that. It is going to release on Friday, but it's not going to release until, see, the Immortals was a Friday release, the 14th. It actually came out at like 9 o'clock or 8:30 on Thursday. Too much. I mean, there were a lot of people who had gone to an Amazon shipping center and were having like a book release party on their own. They were in costume, they were dressed like Tommy LaStella. And on his couch, when he got sent to the minors and he wouldn't go and he went home to New Jersey and he hung out in his mom and dad's house, and then he finally did come back and Anthony Rizzo screamed at him in the clubhouse. I'm sure you remember that. It actually came out earlier. Well, because I made changes to the new one, the one on the 03 Cubs, late, it actually pushed the release date back to Saturday, but it will be Friday night, as we know from experience from the other one. So sometime Friday night, when you wake up Saturday morning, you want to do all of Christmas shopping, you want to buy both books, because here's the deal. Regular price if you buy one book, also regular price if you buy two. What a deal. And by that, I mean for each. Yes, there's no 2-for-1s. Maybe someday. Take it up with Bezos. I don't handle that. I wanted to do pre-releases and they wouldn't. Also, I got asked now by several people. Somebody on Blue Sky asked me too about a Kindle version of the book. Eventually there will be one, but because it has the little notes on the side, for those of you who are watching, all 30 of you who actually watch this instead of listen to it, Kindle doesn't like it. And it wasn't just easy to convert them back to footnotes. So I'm going to have to probably redo both books just for Kindle. So I will, but give me a break, man. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Bears. Actually, what we should talk about, for all the Bear fans who have been whining and complaining about, Caleb's not that good, he's overrated, why didn't they take Jaden Daniels, why didn't they just keep Justin, why didn't they draft CJ Stroud the year before, all that stuff. If you want to see what a rookie quarterback, or it's not even rookie, he's in the same class, but he didn't play last year. You want to look at a young quarterback who you should be bitching about? If you're a Vikings fan, JJ McCarthy sucks. I mean, he's not good. And I know he almost engineered his second fourth quarter comeback of the season, both against the Bears. But he's terrible. Like, the Bear defense is awful. And the Vikings didn't do shit until they had to get a gift punt return to set them up. And that was it. Yeah, they're just not good. And he's bad. Also, what is with the eye black? Number one, you're playing in a dome. Not a lot of sun. I know that there's windows, so there's sun, but not enough. You need eye black. Number two, what is with the Braveheart stuff? What it looks like. I mean, so Caleb gets a lot of crap, right, for painting his nails, which you can't see unless they zoom in on his hands during a game for some reason. But Dummy with his, is it like going half Al Jolson with the eye black. You see it every time they show him. I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like, and this may be, it looks like before games, JJ takes a dump, wipes his ass, takes the toilet paper, and then just wipes it on both cheeks. Maybe he doesn't try to keep the defenders off of him because of the stench. I don't know, but I don't know why his nickname isn't Doo-Doo Face, but it's going to be, if I have anything to say about it. He's bad. And somebody's going to be like, yeah, well, he completed 50% of his passes. Caleb completed 50% of his. And I know JJ had some drops. Caleb had drops again. I don't know what's with the Bears wide receivers these days. And then, so DJ had the one really bad drop. Then he also had the one that he somehow trapped between his calves as he was falling down to save it. A lot of drops. I thought Caleb played really well, actually, for a team that was frustrating you by kicking too many field goals and not scoring enough touchdowns. And I know that I run the risk of when I defend him, because I still feel the urge to, because I feel like he's playing well and he's not getting credit for it. Making this a referendum on him, which isn't. Every game isn't. This game wasn't. This game would have been a referendum on, had they lost it, on Ben Johnson for some little too cute play calling. They brought in the offensive package where they played Tyson Bagent at wide receiver, or flanker. He's Pinky Gentry. Who knew? They ran it on one play when it was a short yardage, and they ran away from him. And the Vikings paid too much attention to his side of the field, expecting some kind of flea flicker, and it made an easy first down. I think that was for Monungai. It might have been Swift. But when they brought him in towards the end of the game on the second to last possession, it was 3rd and 2. The Vikings weren't going to honor that. They weren't going to pay any attention to your other quarterback who's in the game because you're running the ball. And they did. And so all it accomplished was he lined up basically in that flanker spot again, and then he kind of went in motion to make it look like maybe Caleb was going to throw it to him and then run out on the flat again. But the Vikings basically just ignored him, and the Bears ran to that side and were a blocker short, and it got blown up, and it was ridiculous. The other, I thought, Galaxy brain was the Bears get their first possession of the fourth quarter when they're still up 16-3. And you're really just, if you score any points there, the game's going to be over because now it's going to be more than 2 scores for the Vikings to get back in it, and they're just not going to be able to do it. And they went pass. And then they had to punt it. And they ran 2 of them were sacks. So at least it ran some clock. Then when they got the ball back the next time after the Vikings had scored, because that's when the punt return was that set up the short touchdown drive. Then the Bears ran the ball. Of course, that was the drive that had the DJ drop and then the great run by Colston Loveland. I also wasn't sure, why are they throwing the ball to Durham Smythe? They threw him, he caught it 2-pad. They threw him 3 times. It's like, no, don't throw Durham Smythe. At first I thought, maybe Loveland's hurt. But then no, there was Colston back in the game. So just don't do it. I get they played a lot of 3 tight ends when they were trying to run the ball. And I guess if you're going to run 3 tight ends, it makes it easier then if all 3 are considered that you might throw the ball to them. But no, that wasn't a good idea when he was in Notre Dame. I don't think it's a good idea 10 years later to be feeding him the ball. Defensively, it was one of their better efforts. It helps that JJ was throwing the ball 1,000 miles an hour every time he throws it. I mean, if you think Caleb throws the ball hard sometimes for no reason, JJ does it every time and missed some obvious plays. And then Jordan Addison dropped 2 passes. Hawkinson dropped 1. TJ, I was going to call him Tyler. Maybe that's his real name. TJ Hawkinson. What a homely human being he is. And Justin Jefferson dropped 1. That was one though where Tom Brady, who he's fine. You would think $36 million a year might get you more than that, but he's not bad. He's just kind of there. We found out that he used to spend his summers in Minnesota because his mom is from there. Oh, it's great. I'm so excited about that. But anyway, the drop by Jefferson was when Brady was getting kind of tired of beating up on another Michigan quarterback. So he's like, that was a really good pass. Justin had to jump and lean back. He probably should have caught it because he's Justin Jefferson, but it was a terrible pass. So the Bears defense was able to basically get out of trouble whenever they wanted by just letting JJ be JJ because he's bad. But they had a comfortable lead. This should have been one they put away. They should have scored 2 more touchdowns than they scored. If they scored on either of those, then you don't worry about it. Our beloved Cairo missed a 45-yarder. Was that right? He made a 40-yarder to win it. How much was the one he missed? Is he even going to tell me? No. He did make a 54-yarder. I mean, Cairo's good, right? And he's he has a very high percentage, but it's not 100. He's going to miss once in a while. That was a bad one because you just felt like if he scored there, it was going to be over. And then obviously one of the huge plays in the game, Bears got the ball 50 seconds left. And with the Vikings finally taking their second lead of the day, the Vikings score first? Yeah, second lead of the day, but they hadn't led for a long time since early in the second quarter. And Devin Duvernay had a huge kick return, 56 yards. The Vikings were bad on kick coverage Josh Blackwell had a 30-yarder that he just fell down. That should have been 45 or 50 yards too. So that's good. They didn't kick off that much because they weren't doing anything. And it was funny because I made a mental note to talk about Devin before when I thought the Bears, silly me, when I thought the Bears were actually going to win comfortably, that how nice it is to have a punt returner who just catches the ball, unlike Velas. He would like every other one bounced off his face. That was Leon Johnson, famously, that literally it bounced off his face. I think Velas had one that bounced off his face too. Didn't Velas have one that like hit his foot and just bounced out of bounds? Like sideways. Because it really does help to have a guy who can do that. And, I mean, not every kick returner and punt returner is going to be Devin Hester, where it's a threat for a score all the time. But it's like, what was the guy? Was it Travis Taylor? Was that the little white guy they got a few years ago just to catch punts because Velas couldn't? Something like that. Maybe Torrey's little brother. I don't think he was Australian. But yeah, it's nice to have. And then Devin, obviously, he's as every announcer reminds us, he's a Pro Bowl kick returner. And well, I think we found out why. That was a huge play, and that's helped win the game. Deshaun Wright had a big interception before the half. It was a very nice play. I thought he hurt himself because it looked like he landed on his elbow, and but apparently, and I don't think they talked about this on the broadcast. I heard this at halftime when I flipped over to the red zone, and they were showing it. That show Last Chance U, which is on Netflix. They did community college football for like 5 or 6 seasons, and I think they did one basketball, but they did 5 or 6. And one of the football ones, I think the last one they ever did, because it started off with this huckster down in Scuba, Mississippi. And then they did that 3 years of that, I think. And then they did one in Independence, Kansas. And I actually have a friend who had gone to work in Independence at that community college. And so that guy was a real piece of work. But the last year they did it in Oakland, California. And that guy was very impressive, the last coach. Well, he apparently got shot and died late last week. And Deshaun Wright got his start at that community college and credits that guy with, basically getting him on the right track, and the reason that he went on to a 4-year school and the reason he plays in the NFL. And so that's why he reacted that way when he made the interception. And Ben alluded to it, but didn't say why. Deshaun was they always have one, it's funny, he calls it the guest captain because they have their elected captains and they pick one from the team each week. Typically you have something to do with the other team. Deshaun is a former Viking, so I think that was part of it, but also it's because of that coach. And, they didn't mention it on the Fox broadcast, but they mentioned it on the Red Zone one. Anyway, that was a great interception. It almost was as good as the play was bad when the Jordan Addison touchdown catch, where Deshaun was covering no one. He dropped back in man-to-man. It was like cheated towards the middle of the field, and then he almost knocked the ball away, but didn't. And Addison caught the touchdown. It looked like he was going to beat the Bears. Kevin Byard also had an interception. And then a stat that I saw after the game. If you think the Bears have a lot of interceptions, not only do they lead the NFL as a team, they have the guys with the 3 most interceptions in the NFL. Kevin Byard, Deshaun Wright, and Tremaine Edmonds. He has 4. Byard has 5 now. Byard, as Tom Brady kept calling him. Kevin Byard. He has 5, and then the other guys have 4. So that's pretty good. It's the only way they can stop teams right now is to intercept the ball. And it is encouraging, right? Jalen Johnson apparently is practicing again. They listed him questionable, although they knew they weren't going to play him. But I guess that just shows they think he's close. He may actually play this weekend against the Steelers, which would be great. And then Kyler Gordon is also expected to return at some point in the near future. They're not going to get any of those defensive linemen back. Although they got Dominique Robinson back for whatever that's worth this week. But Shamar Turner tore his ACL. And Dio blew out his Achilles. Those guys aren't coming back. And it really does hurt. They also need to get TJ Edwards back. Noah Sewell is a little bit of an adventure. Although Kevin Burkhardt called him Penny Sewell twice. I'd take that trade. We called the Lions. Go. We looked at the paperwork. You have the wrong Sewell. We're going to need yours. We almost had a tragic injury when Theo Benedict went out, and it looked like we're going to be full of Ozzie Trapillo at left tackle for the rest of the game. But he got poked in the eye, and apparently offensive lineman only needs one eye, and so he was right back after one play out. It's not like he's a great left tackle, but he's their best left tackle, and I don't want to see the alternatives right now. Ozzie, I'm sure, will turn into a serviceable NFL player. He plays quite a bit now anyway because he's the extra lineman who comes in. He's the Dan Skipper. Although I haven't thrown the ball to him yet. I'm sure that's coming. But Dan Skipper was the guy who was always the extra. It is, I think, still maybe, I don't know, for the Lions. But anyway, the Bears survived a little too much. I really was worried that the Bears were going to go for it on the 4th and 5. They were just out of field goal range. It was, I think if it had been 4 and 3 or shorter, they probably would have. They went up and they did the thing where they tried to draw the Vikings offsides. And then I was surprised that they got they took the delay game, and the Vikings, usually the teams decline that because it gives the punter an advantage. You get better chance at an angle to kick it out of bounds. It must have been a little less. Well, obviously it was less than 5 because the Bears were trying to draw them off. And Kevin O'Connell is he's not nuts. He's like, yeah, my team is also likely to jump offside. I'm not going to give the Bears a free first down and the game's over. We want those 5 yards. We want it to be encroachment proof for this, the end of it. The officials, I thought there were one horrible missed call that actually I think cost the Bears 4 points. It was before they had to settle for a field goal in the third quarter. They had a 3rd and long, and for some reason Travis Homer was in the game. I don't know why, but they gave it to him, which I also don't know why. But then he got face masked badly for a while, like 5 seconds of face mask. His head's turned. He can't run. And you have the referee is behind the play, who he should have been able to see it, considering Travis's helmet was being spun around on his head. And then the back judge should be able to see that, right? He's looking right at it. Or the umpire. The umpire should be able to see it. He's right there. No, none of that. Bears had to settle for a field goal. That would have been an automatic first down. And they were really moving the ball well at that point. That was a no good. And then, I mean, I'm just used to it now. Apparently it's never going to happen. But Caleb had one play where he held the ball especially long just to make those people that drives nuts. And when he finally threw it, who was there? Dallas Turner just shoved him right on his ass. Just knocked him right on his ass. The ball's gone. You don't need to hit the quarterback there. If that's any of the so-called elite quarterbacks, like if you do that to Patrick Mahomes, they arrest you on the field. They don't just call the personal foul. Oh, best personal foul of the day was Steelers cornerback Jalen Ramsey, who got one during a commercial. There was a timeout on the field, and one of the Browns was like hanging out on their side of the field and was talking to him, and Jalen took a swing at him and punched him in the helmet, which is always smart. Got thrown out of the game when nothing was happening on the field. Very Joey Porter-ish or Vontez Burfict. Those are the guys that you expect to do that. But that would have also, the roughing the passer would have given the Bears a first down. I don't know if they would have done anything with it, but that would have. Actually, at this point, the way it all worked out was fine because they needed 50 seconds at the end so they could go down the field. I also like that even after the punt return, all the Bears did was run the ball. They just tried to get closer. They got one first down, and then they got close enough where they were comfortable having Cairo come out to totally redeem himself. And Caleb will get credit for a fourth quarter comeback. The other four he absolutely deserved. This one was long punt return, handoff, field goal. But it counts. And I'm fine with it. Team stat wise, it was pretty even. The Bears had the ball forever. The Bears won the time of possession by almost 14 minutes. By 14 minutes. 36:59 to 23:01. So 37 to 23. That's a lot. And you would have thought they would have racked up a lot more yards than they did. They had more first downs, 19-15. Bears were 7 of 18 on third down, which is not great, but it's not bad. But the Bears held the Vikings to 3 for 11. A lot of that is JJ blows, which helps. If you have a third and more than 3, JJ's not converting that. Bears 320 total yards, Vikings 265. The Vikings actually averaged more yards per play than the Bears, for what that's worth, which is nothing. Bears rushed for 140 yards on 39 carries, 3.6 yards. That's bad for them. But the Vikings make it really hard to run the ball, and it's kind of like they're a more effective version of the Giants. The Giants are easy to run the ball on, but you have to run it a lot because like you'll get a lot of 1 and 2 yard gains, and all of a sudden you'll get 40 because it's not the defensive line that sucks. It's for the Giants, it's the linebackers and defensive backs are beat up. So if you finally get through the line, you can gain a bunch of yards. The Vikings, you just have to run the ball a lot against them. And it was one thing that, like, even though Matt Nagy had relatively decent success against them, he would always just give up. Run the ball a few times and go, oh, can't run it. I guess we're going to throw every time. Ugh. Bears were 1 for 2 in the red zone. The Vikings were 2 for 3. Bears 6 penalties for 40 yards. Vikings 2 for 15. Fuck off. 2 for 15. Yeah, I'm sure they only had 2. Only worth 2 penalties. There was 1 fumble in the game, although really there were 2. The one was Caleb went to hand off to DeAndre, and no one was blocking a corner who was charging in, and DeAndre basically is like, and didn't grab the ball. Rowe made a great recovery on that, saved the day. But Caleb on the first sack, he only got sacked twice. And the first one was only for a yard, but he was being kind of rolled over. He was laying on a Viking, and the ball came loose, and it rolled off of him, and then he reached back and grabbed it. That would have been a fumble if the Bears had lost it there. That would have been very bad. It didn't end up being a fumble because, I mean, ball never actually touched the ground. It was just kind of rolling around Caleb's torso. A torsover. Is that a thing? But yeah, it was a very interesting game. It was one of those, it was a very aggravating game to watch because you felt all along like the Bears should be winning the game by more than they were because they were outplaying the Vikings quite a bit. Just like the Giants last week, where you're like, all right, the Bears are by far the better team here. Why aren't they winning by more? In fact, they had to have a frantic comeback to beat the Giants. They needed a frantic comeback today. But also because it was sitting first on 9 and then on 6 points, the lead. You just were like, it's just going to take one fluky play and the Bears are going to lose. And it really wasn't one I guess there was no fluky play. They gave up a bad punt return and then set it up for little JJ. And then the Vikings did have one drive. JJ was 5 for 5. He's so gutty. Yeah, when the other team plays prevent defense, JJ is really good. You will never convince me that he's not just a clone. And this Brady would have been the perfect guy to talk about this because as we found out last week, Tom Brady's dog is a clone of the dog he and Giselle had. And like a year before the divorce, Tom got the other dog cloned. I have a problem with this. I'll use a perfect example. I don't think if she's here, I would make her appear on camera, but I don't think she's down here right now. So we have multiple dogs, and you're not supposed to have a favorite. And I had a favorite. I love them all, but there was one I like. We had a Schnauzer who I just loved. It's the greatest dog ever. When she died, I was very sad and thought, it's too bad. We'll never have another dog like that again. And so what we did was we bought another miniature Schnauzer, and it's the same dog. We didn't tell people that we got a new dog. Once this dog grew up from being a puppy, they would just assume it's the same dog. I don't think you need to clone them. I mean, you can just find basically the same breed, treat them the same way, and you pretty much get the same dog. But anyway, so Tom Brady had his dog cloned. Then they got divorced. He was thinking ahead. He's always planning ahead. He saw where this was heading, and he was going to miss the dog, so he got his own version of the dog. I would like to have him talk about the fact that I think JJ McCarthy is just a Jim Harbaugh clone. It's the same guy. I expect him to be coaching at Michigan in 30 years and getting them put on probation. It's the same guy. If you're old enough to have remembered Jim Harbaugh playing quarterback for the Bears, watching JJ McCarthy, it's the same shit. Remember Jim Harbaugh was Captain Comeback with the Colts, kind of with the Bears every once in a while. Like, he beat He had one comeback against the Jets in Monday Night Football that Mike Donahue and I broke down on Remember This Crap a few years ago. For those of you either remember it for one of two reasons. Either you remember it from Steve McMichael knocking the ball away from Blair Thomas as he was about to go in for the clinching touchdown, or you remember it. This is what you really remember it. That was the game where Cap Bozo caught the pass and got his face shoved into the ground. And when he got up, he had an entire thing of Soldier Field sod stuck in his face mask. That's what you remember that game for. But anyway, so the reason Jim Harbaugh was captain comeback was he would play like shit for the first 55 minutes of every game, and all his team would always be losing. So whenever they won, it required a comeback. But it was the same thing, right? It's like a guy who is not an accurate, it should be an accurate passer. All the myth you got from when he was at Michigan was tough guy, will run for tough yards if he needs to scramble. Doesn't have a great arm, but he makes all the throws. And that's supposedly JJ. And it's the same as Harbaugh, which is has an arm that he doesn't know how to use, doesn't make tough throws, and has struggles making regular ones. They're the same guy. And if Bo Schembechler had let Jim Harbaugh wear that much eye black, he probably would have. So it's basically the same thing. It looked like Alice Cooper running around on the field for some reason. So he's bad. And the Bears should have beat him twice, but they only beat him once, but at least they didn't lose to him both times, which would have been bad. I have another question. Kevin Burkhardt kept talking about how the Vikings, if with a win, would be 3-0 in the division, and he kept acting like that was a huge deal. That doesn't matter at all. Division record doesn't count for anything, right? I mean, if you win your division, you can have a home playoff game, right? But it doesn't matter what your division record is. It's still your overall record. It's the team in the division with the best overall record. Like if you go 6-0 in the division, but you lose every other game and go 6-12, you don't make the playoffs. It's not like, well, we won the North, so we're in the playoffs. No, it goes by overall record. So it really doesn't matter. The Packers last year went 1-5 in the North. And they made the playoffs. They won just as many games in the division as the Bears did last year. They tied for last in the division. Didn't matter. I think they had a home playoff game, right? Maybe not. I don't remember. I try not to pay much attention to the Packers. They were on Red Zone a lot on the second TV because they were playing this wild game. So apparently they got rid of their sex pest kicker, Brandon McManus. And the new guy was apparently a guy they found on College Football Game Day. He must have won one of the Pat McAfee $500,000 kicking challenges. Missed 2 extra points and bad. Like it literally looked like they found a guy in the parking lot at MetLife and said, "You want to kick for the Packers today?" Jordan Love bad again. I'm just convinced he's not good, which I really enjoy. He got hurt. He left the game for, I don't know what the injury was, but then I'm like, who's the backup? And I was like, it's Malik Willis. He did take him on a scoring drive, but it's the Giants, for God's sakes. And then Jameis was playing quarterback for the Giants, which is, you got the full Jameis experience in that one. He made some great throws. Every team Jameis has played on, his teammates love him. They love Jameis. He's the best teammate. But he also, it's an old, I hate to quote Lou Holtz because he turned out to be such a mega shithead, which we all should have known the whole time. But he had I've used a similar version of this. It was about Jarius Jackson when he was a quarterback in Notre Dame. And Lou said once, it looks like Jarius is trying to win the game for both teams at the same time. That truly is Jameis Winston, like the only guy to ever throw 30 touchdowns and 30. He's 30 touchdowns and 30 picks in the same season. It's unbelievable. So he was making some great throws and keeping the Giants in it. And then at one point on a crucial 4th down, I think it was Devin Singletary, it was either him or Tyrone Taylor, was running and just got past the line to gain. It was one where everybody was pushing to push him even farther. And you look up and there's Jameis, like it's just shoving. He's right in the pile with everybody, just shoving away. And then when the Packers took a late lead and the Giants came right down the field and Jameis has a chance to win it, and he threw a horrible interception in the end zone and they lost. That was the full Jameis. But I'm convinced the Packers are bad, which I enjoy very much. Bears are alone in first place until the Lions play the Eagles. I don't know if it's tonight or tomorrow. I don't really care, but at some point they're going to play them. I don't know how much it matters. I'm very happy with the progress that this Bears team is making. All of the boxes I think I needed to see checked because it's important what I think. They are. The offense still has its moments where every once in a while you're like, ugh, but it's much improved. They seem to have a clue. They seem to be building something. The defense, I'm amazed they ever stop anybody given their personnel issues. They're 7-3. My guess is to guarantee a playoff spot, you have to have 11 wins this year. There's going to be a lot of teams with either 9 or 10, and you're going to get caught in that weird tiebreaker thing. So, 7-3 with 7 games to go. Bears have to go. They at least have to go 3 or 4 to give themselves a chance. They got 4-3, they'll get in. They're not going to do it. I look at the schedule and I go, oh no. And I'm already ready for it. Oh, the Bears choked. Oh, what a disappointing finish to the season. No, the whole body of work at this point on is going to be good, right? Like them getting to 7-3 is kind of ridiculous. And we should really just be enjoying this. And hopefully this is like the 1 year of this era where you don't have to freak out if they lose because this team isn't going to win a playoff game, or I don't think they're going to get to the playoffs. Sorry, as I cough. So I don't know. Let's look at the schedule the rest of the way. Might as well do the thing where we do the win-loss. They at CBS next Sunday, they play the Steelers at home. Aaron Rodgers hurt his little hand today. Did not finish the game. It was nice. I didn't know Mason Rudolph was still a thing, but apparently he still is. So, so we're I'm probably still going to get Aaron. It's his left hand, right? You don't need that to play quarterback when you throw with your right hand. Then there's that's a game they can win, but that's a coin flip, I think. Steelers have a real defense, and I don't think they're that good. But you could win that game, sure. Then on Black Friday, they're going to play the Eagles in Philadelphia. Well, that's a loss. Then they go to the Packers. I don't think the Packers are any damn good, but Lambeau. Then they play the Browns at home. We should win that Browns game. Maybe I'm talking myself into this. Then they play the Packers again. I figure you're going to beat the Packers one of the 2 times, right? Probably not both. It'd be great. That should be a new thing the Bears do. It should be the Packers all the time. Then they go to the 49ers on Sunday Night Football on the 28th of December. I don't like that at all. And then they finish up with the Lions. Maybe it won't mean anything to the Lions, except I have a feeling Dan Campbell's still going to want to beat Ben Johnson. And I don't think it's he hates Ben for leaving. I think it's just they're friends, and it's fun to kick your buddy's ass, and he's going to want to do it. They ran the score up on the Bears the first time they played. So you have 4 wins in there. That's what's going to take to guarantee a spot. Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Browns, Packers, Niners, Lions. I don't know that I see 3 in there. I hope I do. And I'm wrong all the time, so I'm comforted by the fact that when I think it's not going to happen, it means it's going to happen. I'll tell you what, if they beat the Steelers Sunday, then I'll be confident that they're going to get to 10 at least, and then they'll have a shot. If they lose, I think we're playing out the string. Doesn't mean the games won't be fun, but I don't know that anybody should really throw a fit, except I'm sure the Bear media will, because they suck so much. So we got that to look forward to, which is nice. All right. So that'll do it. Nice win. Expected. Felt like they lost it and won it both at the same time, which is always kind of fun. You get to feel every emotion in the last 3 minutes of the game. But they won. And they haven't done a lot of that in the last 40 years. So let's enjoy it.
Many of us have herpes.
Post-game show is brought to you by Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. Got to congratulate the Dolan family.
Thank you. Sean, my podcast co-host Andy, you were his favorite player growing up.
Oh, thank you so much.
Awesome.